Oh, it's
12,
12.
12,
Well,
10,
10
it's
is
10,
10,
11.
11.
12.
12.
Oh, shit.
10,
10,
11,
11,
12.
12.
What comes
Comes
after
after
11?
11.
Are we
Are we
live?
live?
What comes
Comes
after
after
11,
11,
Joy?
Joy.
What
12.
comes
Comes
after?
after
Oh,
11.
and we're
12.
live. There we are. See, I
Oh,
knew we were
snap.
somewhere around there. There had to be
There we go.
something, somewhere, something, something, something,
Hey.
something, something, something. Oh, damn, we should put this away, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm known for that. I can suddenly go live. And
Suddenly
then
live.
suddenly. Damn, did I lose my 10 questions again? I think I did.
Where's your 10 questions?
Well,
Okay,
I
okay, okay,
posted
okay.
them online and I made a cute thing, and you know what? I suppose I'll find it. You know what? The first one's an easy one. First off, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Behind the Stories. Some of you may know that we are moving into, yes, the official begging for money month of May. As you may or may not know, we are a nonprofit hoping to someday bless for profit. I hope someday we'll be a lot more non-profitable. That doesn't sound like a direction to go, but okay. The point is that one of the things we're working is to raise the money to be able to tell the next round of stories. Get beyond just Ross and I, beyond our little basement, and reach out over the entire world to share the experiences that we all have. There's a reality that we all feel really lonely because we wear these masks all the time, and we're afraid that if anybody sees us. So, first victim, Joy Howell, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Dun dun dun. So do you feel lured in suddenly? Like now are you suddenly like, wait a minute, everything felt normal there for we were laughing, we were joking. Now they're calling me victim. This is not good.
I'm disassociating a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Okay. In your own words, and whatever the
hmm
question means to you,
Okay.
where are you from?
I am from a million places, moved a lot.
Okay.
North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas mostly.
Is there any place that you think of as your center of the world? If there's some place you return back to, that's the doesn't even need to be someplace you live. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it's knows.
Um, that would be pretty much in my memories at my granny's house in Virginia.
Okay. So a special connection to your grandma, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
I
now
moved around so much that there's really not, I don't
not a
have a
specific spot.
landing
No, I get
place.
that.
Nope. Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
feeling. I can relate to that a little bit. We moved about
hmm
every 2 years, so there was a little stability, but
Yeah.
later on we found out my dad was bipolar and it all made
hmm
sense. Suddenly it was like, oh,
hmm
he'd get an idea and we'd go there. Thankfully he was also pretty smart and ended up working out okay. But so as you look back at all those places you've been, like, and I know that Ross and I have talked about this, if figuring out where our first memory takes us. So if
hmm
you, where's that first stop in your memory bank? What's the first thing you can kind of pick?
So my first memories were around 3 years old in Monroe, North Carolina.
Been there?
I was with my parents and we were living in a town that would kind of like a commune type town, but it was houses, it was normal living. But this town was called the Jar Center. I guess you could view it like a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all missionary people that lived there. And everyone that was living there was trained to be a missionary or was a missionary that was coming and going. That's where I was.
Oh wow, okay. And so what's the memory? Like you close your eyes, do you remember playing? Do you remember what do you
hmm
see in that memory?
I remember playing, a lot of playing outside,
Uh-huh. So pretty happy.
walking. Yep, very pretty
Okay.
happy. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There were some scary memories, but like, not
Mainly,
normal,
yeah,
normal type. crazy things happen that you're like, oh my God.
Right, right. Except, did you
Yeah,
have to
but no
avoid? Did you have
trauma.
to avoid saying that specifically?
Saying what?
Oh my God, do you get in trouble for that?
Yes.
that
Yes.
that
As
was
a
on the
matter of
list.
fact, I can remember the first time I said, oh my God, in front of my mother. And her face just dropped and she got really serious. And she pointed her finger up the stairs and told me that I needed to go to my room, get on my knees, and pray and ask God for forgiveness.
Oh wow, okay.
And I did.
No, I get
I
that.
went and begged him for forgiveness. Yeah.
I bet you were a ball of tears because I mean, yeah, no, I get it. It's a heartfelt relationship, you know.
Yeah.
That I mean, and that the moment you're raised is really important to you. That I mean,
Hmm.
not to say, see, I don't disassociate the idea of being attached, sort of ish. You know, that I'm part of the
Hmm.
universe. And in my head, that
Right.
kind of we're getting off the beaten path. We're gonna talk more, I promise. So what? And take this any way you want. I sometimes think of it as what are you most passionate about, or what? How do you work? What is your work?
Okay.
Well, how would you say you work?
So the common theme that's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember is just having compassion for the downtrodden and feeling like there is a need to be a voice for the voiceless, which was kind of
Mm,
ironic because I myself at the time didn't have a voice.
well,
But I found this courage or braveness to be
mhm.
that for other people. Like I couldn't do it for myself, but I could stand up and be a voice for other people.
I so can understand that because it was the realization for me, and it's just been lately that part of it is that a lot of times I don't feel seen. That's
Hmm.
why it's so important to me in my head. I think, you know, and maybe it's projection. I think that that's what all people are looking for. I think it's probably
Hmm.
relevant to say that's obviously an important thing I'm attached to. The idea of bringing to other people the fact that they can be, to feel like
Yes.
they're not alone,
Yes.
and to share that. I think,
Hmm.
wow, that's you. What do you do work relative to that?
Well, right now, I I did work nonprofit in the prison ministry and poverty ministry area.
Oh wow, okay.
But at that point, I was married, and we had enough money from his job for me to be able to do it for free. So that was my full time job.
Right.
Um, but I've been divorced, and now I'm single and living on my own. So now I clean houses.
Okay.
And I feel like that I chose that position because I felt like I'm still giving to somebody who needs something. I'm helping women out who are working and trying to maintain a home. And it's very difficult for women to have that position. So I
Absolutely.
feel like, yeah, so I feel like I'm doing the same thing. I'm just, getting paid for it and it looks a little different.
Well, that in the end, when my mom used to carry water, wash dishes. Is that what it was? Wash dishes, carry water.
Wash dishes, carry water.
Wash dishes, carry water. Sometimes it means
Yeah,
it's time to wash dishes and carry water.
yeah.
I
I
don't.
Oh,
think
I
you
see what you're
wash
saying.
water.
Yeah.
There's
I thought you were talking about Carrie washing dishes and I was confused there.
no that it's along the lines of um if you're really searching for enlightenment, what you need to go do is go wash a bowl.
Yeah.
Go,
Yeah.
do what you're doing. Be what
Yeah.
you're being. Stop going like you're searching to get to somewhere that you already are. So maybe quit running in circles quite so hard. But that's the beaten path as well. So, what's your favorite way to play, or how do you play?
Hmm. I would say that maybe it looks a little different, but for me, it's just getting into nature,
No, that
finding it. Yeah.
I think that totally resonates with me. I think it's going to be your next answer too.
Really? Yeah.
How do you pray?
How do I play?
Pray. No, what I mean is, okay, and by
Pray.
that I mean
Okay.
meditation.
Yeah.
By how do
Yes.
you find your center, if that makes sense?
Yes.
It's not meant as
Yes.
a, yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, there was most of my life, my prayer life was, the dot, da, 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 dear God, da, 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 amen. And today it looks more like, I just go into silence, and I try to feel myself come into me and down to the ground and not in the past or not in the future and just be.
Right.
And it's just it's still praying. I mean, I feel connected with God. I feel him there. I feel like I'm in him actually. And then I don't know, it's just different every
I'm
time.
desperately resisting a pegging joke because it seems like a bad
Yeah.
spiritual moment for pegging jokes. But okay, no, I'm.
Well, go right ahead. I'd love to hear it.
In the end, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The interesting thing about no, you're not going to get that joke. The interesting thing about the Judeo-Christian background, and then kind of meeting this mindfulness or meditation, or I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I think the dad thoughts aren't all. You know what? I think however you picture or interact with your higher power, I'm down. Does that make sense?
Well, and let me share this. One thing that I do sometimes is, okay, so meditation is going into consciousness, right? And so I'm going into this silent place, and I believe that when you go into consciousness, you are going into God because that's what he is.
Okay.
And so when I go to that place, that's what it looks like for me. When I go there, I sometimes will think of somebody who may be hurting, and I kind of draw this thread from me to them, and I just send them stuff on it, and I just feel like that is my way of asking God to do this and that for this person, whatever it is that they're needing. But I'm trying to send that energy, of God, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get.
It's very different from
I get
the
it.
Christian way of praying.
It's the way you pray.
Yes, but I feel so peaceful when I come out of it. It's just incredible.
That if you think
Settled.
about it, even if we buy into the idea we're all going to some final destination, right? I have no idea what happens next. I am the first one to sign up for. I have no idea what happened before I got here. I have no idea what happened next. If by some chance it makes sense that no two paths would look the same, because that's just not how GPS works. We all coming from a different spot. Even if we're all going to a single destination, everybody would have a different map. We got to quit fighting over it.
And I love that concept. I'm stealing that one from you.
I'm giving this away all day long, 24/7. I'm the guy that with the vow of poverty, so that when everybody walks in, I'm like going, no, I don't really want something from you. People come into the studio and make beautiful music, and they're like, okay, so what's up with him? What's he really want from us? That's kind of weird. There's this, older, sort of chubby white fellow that likes to, try and talk young people of color into his basement, and his head's shaved. There's got to be something going on. Nope. Actually, I'm just a very, in my head, it's like a Buddhist monk. My head is fairly short, and you know what? I don't want anything but to maybe get this to keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To make more voices like yours be heard. I mean, our motto is make noise, be heard. And I think a lot of people at first are like, oh, they're going to make noise. They want people to look at them. And like, no, I'm too old to make all the noise. I need other people to make the noise and other people to do the listening because my listening's going too. What do you know? What do you know?
What do I know?
Uh-huh.
I know. Oh my gosh. I know that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah,
And I know, yeah. And I know that whatever the future holds, it's all going to be for a reason. And I know that I can make it through anything.
damn, that's powerful stuff. Okay. Okay.
That's deep. I like that.
Good or bad, it'll pass. Is how I
Yeah.
think of it. But
Absolutely.
yep, that you know what?
Everything is temporary.
Right?
Everything is temporary.
And the trick is the hardest part isn't to remember it. Remembering it at the bottom, you can almost convince yourself to remembering it. Where you
Hmm.
really get screwed up is usually you forget when you're at the top. That,
Mm.
oh crap, this wheel turns, yo.
Right?
You know what I mean? It like totally slips from your mind. You're like, oh, la di da. Oh, whoa! Ah!
I think I experienced that a couple weeks ago.
It keeps me humble. The bottom could drop out
Yeah.
any day. I could start not liking
Yeah.
myself or something.
Yeah.
God, if I don't. Actually, that's most days, isn't it, Ross? When do I like myself?
Who, me? I never.
What do you wish you knew? Yeah, I know. Simple. I told you they were all really short questions.
Wow.
It's simple but deep.
They're not. Yeah, they're little. At least I didn't make them complicated, right?
So my mom passed away last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I gathered all the information that I would have wanted to know, you know.
Right. Right.
Mm.
There's a lot more now that I wish I would have asked, that I wish
Mm,
I knew.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you have to set down and walk away from, or is that something maybe you'll find out over time?
No, the things that I want to know, I have to just walk away from it because it's, you know,
Mm,
personal things
right.
about her and dealing with life and, you know, just certain questions that I should have asked that I didn't ask that I wish I would have because it would help me now to know those answers for myself, you know.
It, it
But I'm okay with not knowing.
it took me about 20 years to finally have my dad and I be. It was wild, and it was a weird thing because it was too. It was like he said goodbye, and yeah, no. Even though his ashes are still upstairs, I don't think he's here anymore. But for
Yeah.
about 20 years, I mean, there were moments we went around, and there were moments that he was supportive, and moments when then I got crazy enough to understand how crazy he
Mm.
was for a while, and that helped.
I kind of
Yeah.
have. I kind of have some of those thoughts with my dad, cause like it's like I look at pictures and I think of like stories I never got. I wasn't around enough, whatever the case
Mhm.
was. And it's like it's unfortunate, but it's like I know that I can never get that, so I have to try and set it down somehow,
Right, right.
Yeah.
you know?
It was weird. It was the last transmission from my father.
Hmm.
Just a
And you know, it's actually incredibly peaceful when you do set it down.
mm-hmm. It was very much, you know what, help is going to come from unexpected places.
Hmm.
It was weird. I had got this urge to watch my favorite movie of all time, which is a 1980s movie about diving. Anyways, but I only ended up watching the beginning of it, and I knew I was having a conversation with my dad.
Hmm.
But it ended with, you know what, we'll do the best they can, and it was a buy. It was like wow. It was like the certain pieces of the movie made sense as part of a conversation, and it felt very like, oh, that was kind of surreal, which it was. At the same time,
Yeah.
that comes from inside of me. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always said I don't believe in magic, but I also believe there's lots of stuff I don't understand. So, nah.
Absolutely.
What do you love?
Hmm. I think I love love.
Love, love me do. You know I'll love you.
And that might
Won't you
sound really crazy, but
please?
I'm like tearing up over saying that.
No, that's okay. Love is an amazing thing. I
It
can see
is.
that.
And yeah, and I guess that's part of the down, you know, wanting to be a part of the downtrodden is I just want
But
people
but
to feel it, you know?
oh,
I want
now.
them to feel love.
Joy, this is a children's program. No.
Oh my gosh, I
my
forgot about
gosh.
you. Too.
No, I'm just.
No. She was talking about love like
I haven't felt
nice
the love
kind.
today, but Joy
The
felt
nice
pretty good.
kind
No.
of love, man. Come on now.
Come on now.
Your mom's gonna call you on this one.
See?
Oh, my mom loves me. She knows
I
I'm
think she
she
should.
knows I'm trouble. That it was actually in the midst of a, pretty intense throuple that I came to terms with the fact that I was aromantic. That I love everybody. Yeah, that I'm not poly though. I'm not. There's a weird next step to romantic that doesn't like, oh,
Yes.
what do you mean?
Yes.
Why can't I feel that way about this other person? And they're like, well, yes, but don't you measure and you subtract and I'm like, there's math. I love everybody. Well, but how could you love me and her? Well, I don't love you the same. Good. Well, no, I mean, you're two different people. Of course I'd have to love you. It'd be like, do you love all your kids identically? I did so, but it
They're
was the
different
realization in listening to oh God, give me her name. Am I gonna forget it?
Oh, yeah, with the
autism.
autistic
Say
with
with the
the
autism.
horses.
The autism with the horses. Yeah.
Not the horses, the cows.
The
Was it
cows.
Yeah, it was cows.
Oh, she's one of my favorite
can't
people, and she's
remember.
big on neurodiversity. But
Temple Grandin.
Temple Grandin, thank you, wise friend.
Yeah.
Temple Grandin discussing on NPR her understanding of love.
Hmm.
And she identifies as aromantic and asexual. But that she was describing like the feelings of responsibility, that someone that you love is somebody that you take more care in noticing those things, and you take on those responsibilities, and so for her it's just a sense of responsibility, and whether or not you feel like this is a person that matters enough to you, give that level of attention.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I like that.
well, but that's the only thing I know. Is there supposed to be something else?
It's not what the movies say.
So that, and you know what? So that it kind of, yeah, I could see being in love with love. I get that. I suggest you take precautions and people test it often, but other than that, you should be good to go. My advice on that is, yeah, let the good times roll, sister. What are you afraid of?
I am afraid of fear.
I am afraid of fear. Ah, fear, the mind killer.
How are you afraid of fear? That sounds very meta.
Well, that probably came straight to mind because this year I've been dealing a lot with agoraphobia, which is if you look that up in the dictionary,
fear
the dictionary
of the
defines
agora.
it as the fear. No, it's the fear of
going
fear.
outside, right?
No, it's the fear of fear is what the dictionary says. But
I
yes,
thought,
it's the fear of leaving your home.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah,
So
the fear of
what
being
did you-
outside of the unusual, like to go somewhere other than
Because-
where you are safe.
Absolutely, because outside of your house, you have no control. You don't know what you're going to run into. You don't know what you're going to face. You don't know what someone's going to say. You don't know what kind of situation, if there's going to be conflict.
Absolutely.
But inside your home, everything is in control. You can control who comes in, who you talk to, what you see, what you do.
As I sit here in my basement, I understand what you're saying. And agoraphobia is from the Greek, and the agora, why I said fear of the agora, is the agora was the public square.
I don't know. Okay. I know that agoraphobia is the abnormal fear of being helpless in an embarrassing or unescapable situation that is characterized by ESP, by the avoidance of open or public space.
Yeah.
So we were both right.
Oh, especially.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, especially. ESP. I was
So,
like,
okay.
dude,
Especially.
extrasensory
Okay,
powers,
what is
though.
ESP? What?
There's like an upside, dude. It's like a mutation. You get ESP. I will all day long stay in my basement if I get extrasensory powers in return.
It's basically fear of being embarrassed outside, maybe?
Well, it's fear of
That's
fear.
what it sounded like? Fear of fear, yeah.
Yeah.
I follow. I follow.
I'm going to fill you in on something, Joy. No matter what we do, he will come up with a different definition. He will run off and need
I looked
to
up the definition in the dictionary.
And
I'm
and
teasing.
just to put it out there, agoraphobia is like anything else, right? There's a spectrum of that. So different people have different experiences, but
It's a
that's what mine is
rainbow.
like.
That makes sense.
Yep.
It's like the rainbow.
That you
Yep.
know what? That right there.
I agree.
That makes sense.
Everything's a spectrum.
You know what? It's conflict. My fear of fear is all conflict based. Conflict with
Okay.
anybody. Yeah. And that can happen at any moment, at the grocery store.
Yeah, don't you know it?
It can happen anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your car, just driving down the road in your car, right?
Well,
Stand out
but
front in your yard with your neighbor.
the hardest part for me is, there's that uncertainty. I get that.
Mhm.
Because I guess I'll be honest and say I do get weird about going out in the world. I don't feel as weird about people coming into my world until I'm at that line, right,
Mhm.
Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Then
Yeah.
I'm like,
Pretty much. Then he's like, you reach like a sensory overload where it's like
Yeah.
you had to learn too many lessons too quickly. And then you're
Yeah.
just like, I need people to be away now.
Yeah.
And then you gotta recoup a little bit, you know?
I need
Yes.
my blankie.
I need sleep. That's what I need. Sleep. Operation hibernation.
You know what? That's not as bad as it used to be.
Hibernation. Operation hibernation.
Because remember,
Wow.
there used to be, I'd get hit with such overwhelming, like it was like almost like narcolepsy, but it wasn't. It wasn't a medical thing. It was a psychological thing. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm just done, dude. And you would watch me collapse onto the
Yeah.
couch. I mean, like you could hear me hit, and I would be out.
Yeah.
And we still, I mean,
Well, it taps you of all of your energy,
mm-hmm.
and then you have to lay down.
Well, yeah.
It puts you down.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I think it's a very real part of our nature is that there's an energy-based aspect to us. That, I mean, however we describe it, whether it's I'm taken by the Holy Spirit, or whether it's we talk about Reiki and the Zen practices of doing stuff with different energy, and moving it around. Or shoot, if you go talk to guys dealing with the physics that are, you know what, it all kind of fits to some extent or another. I mean, it seems apparent to me that there's a shared experience that we kind of all make worse by denying it, sort of like, oh, no, don't you know you're supposed to be fine? Can't you see I'm fine? Why aren't you fine? I'm fine.
Everybody here should be fine and dandy.
Doesn't that how it feels, though?
That is exactly
absolutely.
how it feels.
I was for a while spending a good bit of. I was not a good bit. I was awful about it. I was supposed to be doing this Bible study group, and I was really trying because I'll get back to it. I feel kind of pulled to meet people where they're at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the last time I was there, they totally unrelated to even anything we were talking about that day. Grandma needed to bring up, and I don't know if it related to me somehow. I don't know of a way it could. It's not my particular preferences, but anyways.
Okay.
Grandma announces, well, there's 4 different places in the, I don't know how Grandma came to the South. She was in Columbus when she said this, but basically that there were 4 different places in the New Testament that, defined that you should never be a homosexual. And I thought to myself, damn, you're getting that from Paul's stuff? Paul pretty much hated women, but just saying. But that it was a weird thing to feel a need to be that attached to. Like, of all the things to find to attach yourself in the New or Old Testament, like all that you can somehow, then all that resonates with you is the let's beat people up, or you know what, God's gonna beat you down if you do this, or there's some really cool stuff. I mean, there's some
definitely
Psalm of Psalms. There's some good porn. I mean, alabaster thighs. And
what the what?
Go look it up.
What are you talking about, bro?
Man, Solomon was a player, yo.
Solomon.
There's stuff in that book. Dude, there's freaky sex in the Bible is the weird thing.
There's sex in the Bible?
There
can't be.
There's gang raping the hottest angels you've ever seen before in your life. That's how they wrote it. It's not my fault. That's
Really
basically the
that can't be a
description.
thing in the. I don't remember that part. I must have like blocked that part out of my psychology.
Joy, can I get some back in
You know,
here?
is that
Yes, it's there. It's
okay?
definitely
That's there. Okay. I blocked that part out then, cause okay, I'm gonna have to read that again.
Well, just for you, ain't you a pillar?
Maybe mom and
Damn, you're a
maybe
pillar
mom
of
and
salt,
dad blocked
bitch.
it out for you.
Right?
Don't make me get my pillar of salt wound out on you. Well, but I had a great. But here's the best part. That outlook was given to me by a Catholic school nun in high school. Sister Janice straight out called it. She said, "You know what? You guys act like, you know what? Oh, none of the Bible doesn't have anything to do with the world today." And it's like, I don't know. You might want to go look a little closer. There's some history about the Middle East that you might be interested in kind of understanding. When two tribes go to war, you know, that whole thing. But that there's wisdom in there too. Just like there's wisdom for me, at least. I find there's also wisdom lots of other places.
Absolutely.
That's what's cool about it. I just have always gone like, why do you pick some people I run into are like, yeah, that I don't understand, kind of constantly going to the crappy
Don't you think
bits.
don't you think that human nature though, we're just kind of drawn to the negative, right? That's why negative media sells, right?
Well, I have an idea. So basically, it's not our fault. It's evolutionary. So like, if you think about it, early cavemen would like do better if they were assholes.
Right.
Like if they didn't feed the other family, their family would live. Right? So if your village got a little bigger and you were doing well, and the little starving kid came along, if you fed him, that might mean some of your kids died. So the asshole keeps moving forward. So you need to understand.
Interesting.
We're all trying to come to terms with the fact that genetically, we're descendant from a long line of fucking assholes. And if we can just own our fucking asshole genetics, and that we're all coming from that same, in the long run, if you go back far enough, the people that got to live were the ones that didn't share their food. That's why you're a bit of a jerk. And if we all just own it, you know, we can go forward from here with, okay, I'll try and do better.
Yeah. We're so concerned about the asshole in other people that we can't turn and see that there's the asshole in us that needs to be dealt with.
Work.
That's true. So the goal is to not be an asshole.
It's never been about the asshole in other people. It's always been about the asshole in you.
I don't know if I finished.
That no matter what kind of weird sex trick you're trying, I don't think there's any way you can stick your asshole in somebody else.
Oh my god.
So you'll just have to deal with your own asshole.
What?
This is deep philosophy here. It's important. So you've been counting questions? So you were counting cards? Do you know any questions you've been asked or not?
I don't. I have not been counting questions.
I think it's
How many
9,
were there?
right?
5?
There have been 9, and we have
guessing...
one left.
It's the last one.
It's the last one.
Nice.
Dun,
Okay.
da, da, da.
Da-na-da-na.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Wow.
That's a big question. That can be as big a question as you want it to be.
I am here by the grace of God, actually.
Okay. I like that.
I've had 3 failed suicide attempts. 2 of them were back to back because the first one didn't work. I tried another time. And really, really surprised that I'm still here. So very thankful.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm grateful that
You're
here.
dope.
I am. I am too.
You know that. What do you think your purpose is?
My purpose is to be the voice for the voiceless. It is my purpose.
What about your voice?
I'm just getting that back myself. This past year, I've found my voice. I've found myself again. You know, I lost it way before. I mean, you know, Probably before I was 5, I lost who I was.
Right.
So,
That you weren't supposed to have a voice.
right. So I've got that now, and I feel like, with me having found my own voice and knowing how to speak up for myself and knowing how to have boundaries, maintain boundaries, and be confident and secure that I'm doing that, it will help me to be a more productive voice for other people, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. That as you discover your voice, I find that so true. That in finding your own voice, you find it almost easier to hear other people trying to find theirs, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you're more, yeah, you've been through it.
And I've got to say, by being a voice for other people, it actually has helped me to find myself, because in trying to help others find themselves, I realized that I was lost. You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay,
I didn't realize until I started working on getting my voice back that I didn't have a voice. Does that make any sense? Am I saying that right?
no, it does.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that there's a moment for me where I suddenly realize that what I've done is I've covered myself. I've like built this armor around me that's all about sense of responsibility. And you look
Hmm.
around one day and you go, wait a minute. The only thing that I don't see here, I'm looking around, and you're like, you see all the things that are this endless list of things in your head. And the one thing that doesn't exist in any of them is me, is the
Yes.
self. And it's trying
Yeah.
to refine those pieces. Now, for me, it was an interesting thing. It was one day closer to turning 50. Um, this sounds like the most conceited thing anybody could ever. And I'm trying to describe it in the way it hit, though it doesn't. It all made sense.
What
So,
made
so
sense?
first there's that first round of, oh shit, this was all like getting you ready,
Right.
and then there's a point where you look
Hmm.
back and all the experiences kind of line up,
Yeah.
Okay.
and you're like, oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? You've got these memories of yoga studios and philosophy. Yet at 12, you decided you realized it. That there's always been an interest in this aspect of my life, but I've always done it sort of tangentially. I
Hmm.
you know, didn't go for the study. I went for the how bad can I screw up my life
Yeah.
route. I like to remind people that in general, when you think of where did our world's greatest religions come from, they were in general 20-something-year-olds that were irritated and thought they knew more than their elders.
I'm 19.
That at 18 or 19, Buddha was pissed, and though he was Brahmin and rich as all
That's funny.
God, he was like, nope, I know better. I got things I gotta do, Dad. And the only difference between Buddha and Jesus for me, and this is in my own jokingly sort of way, is that the difference is Buddha lived long enough, keeps smacking people's hands when they got it wrong. And Jesus
Hmm.
died young and left. Okay, I'm not
He
buying.
had one time to do that, and that was at the temple.
I'm
When
not.
he
I'm
not the
not
temple,
buying.
the marketplace. Like when he
Hmm.
like tore down the taxpayers and stuff like that, like
Well, no,
all
no.
that stuff.
I'm
That
just
was
telling.
his one
He
time.
was out by 30 something.
He was
33.
out by 33, yeah.
I know. Well, no, I'm aware. But
Yeah.
Buddha lived till he was old.
Right.
And so that when Paul comes around in Buddha's world, I don't think he was named Paul, but that when people get it wrong, Buddha can go bam, smack their hands, and Jesus was already gone, and well, we know what happened next. But I also always think to myself that without Paul, does that message even get into the world? That this big deep message that is to some extent the step away from Judaism is actually about compassion and love. And just as, do you know the Dalai Lama's name if China doesn't, you know, he's Tibet?
Hmm.
Would you have felt the additional compassion of his presence in the world? That, you know what, he built a rich following all over Europe and there was at least the knowledge. So
Right.
without Paul, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? The universe is a crazy place. Things get where they're going one way or another. We just don't know which part was the. You know what? Sometimes things have to happen to move things along.
Yeah.
So was it painful? That was 10 whole questions.
It was very painful.
Well,
What was painful? I'm sorry.
the 10 questions were painful. It was very painful.
Oh, the 10 questions. No, the 10 questions were not very painful. I'm sorry.
Which part?
No, that was very easy. Actually, when you asked me if I knew what question we were on, I thought maybe we were on number 3, and then you said we were on number 9.
See?
No, it was very easy. Thank you guys.
Well, that's the goal. So are we gonna
Yeah.
So now we're planning a show, and we're planning to have you back on millions and millions of times more, because as much as we're trying to get a million interviews going, you know what? At least you're our first. You know that
Oh, I'm the first?
you deflowered us.
Officially, you are our first.
I did not know this.
Yes, you. Well, it's as a guy, it's harder to admit your virginity, and we didn't want you to know
My God.
that you were taking advantage of us. That you probably have more experience with. You've done all of these other worldly things that us poor Midwesterners don't know about. You know. Yes, you officially deflowered us. This is our official first. This one we're labeling behind the stories because there's more to it. But at the same time, this is stories. 10 questions is very much going to become a thing. Trust me.
And it's not painful.
Well, so maybe next time we'll do a better job of it.
Y'all did great.
Well, this has been, you don't need to go anywhere yet. I am going to wrap up the live portion of the show. We go stories. Oh, we're going to go to that one. That one's pretty. I like that one.
Ooh.
Joy, it has been such a joy. Joy.
Thank you. You guys too.
Yeah, no, it's very smooth. It and the sound quality.
Are we off air?
Nope, not yet. I'm jibber jabbering as I do. I'll tell you. I promise. I won't leave you hanging. I'll jibber jabber. He's wrapping up. Oh, do you know what we should mention?
What should we mention?
We're in a later time slot, so let's mention Tobacco Land.
Tobacco Land?
I love Sam.
Oh yeah. Sam, go.
Down at the corner of Stigler and Agler.
Stigler and Agler.
Back behind the gas station.
Back behind the gas station.
Biggest CBD selection you could ever. Oh my God, I love this man.
Yeah.
You know what? I call it a sponsorship. I'll be honest. He's just my good friend Sam.
Yeah, man. He's my homie.
Oh my! I'm telling you, he's got these Oreo things. Get some of those. Anyways.
Get the Oreos and the gummies.
And if I could remember the name of that stupid website that had those shoes I really wanted, I'd start blasting them. Just
Gianna Vonco. I forgot what it was.
Joy in Arizona, Matt and Ross in Ohio. Wow, we're pretty crazy. I really had it. Wow. Okay. Okay, we're technically off.
I think I had a stroke. I was missing jokes like by